Hey, thanks for checking out Coffee with Brett. I'm gonna jump right in here because I've got a goal to keep these videos short and I've been a little bit of a long talker. So guess what? I'm gonna talk about goals today. Not project goals, I'm gonna talk about project management career goals. I feel like we talk a lot about how to manage projects, but we tend to not focus on ourselves as PMs. And I get it. You always want to be better, so you're always kind of chasing that new, better tactic or tool. But here's the thing. I think that you need to stop and think about the big picture, because those tools and tactics are not going to make you a better PM alone. Sure, they'll support it and they'll help you in the moment to deliver projects, but you'll never get better as a PM if you don't set some goals for yourself, for your behavior that are really going to expand your long-term career. So whether you're embarking on a new year or you're just setting goals as a part of your annual planning cycle, or even if you just want a fresh start, I've got 5 suggested goals for you to focus on to help level up your PM career. Ready to go? I'm gonna take one more sip. All right, good stuff. I'm caffeinated. Let's do this. Number 1 is to be a better communicator. It's been said time and time again that effective communication is critical as a PM. So if you're sensing that your communications aren't great or your messages just don't seem to be landing well, you should set a goal to get better at communications. Sit down and devise a plan for how you'll optimize those current communications. Think about what's not working. Then, what are the things that you can do to make your communications better or clearer, or even just to land? Maybe your team meetings feel like they're dragging people down so that, things are just off in meetings. So sit down and work on a new agenda format. Or maybe folks aren't engaging in your status reports. So find better ways to make those easier to digest. You get the idea. Pinpoint the issue and tweak it. I think if you diagnose a problem and dedicate yourself to fixing it, you can test tactics and eventually meet the goal of a better communication, because you're going to see how people are responding to those communications. Even better, I think a good tactic might be to sit down and have a discussion with your team and talk about communications, right? And what they'd like to see change, or what's working and isn't working. Get their consideration. So I get that that might seem a little bit scary, sitting down and talking about what's working and not working based on what you do specifically. But if you do that, it can be really productive and it can build trust with your team. But honestly, at the end of the day, this is your goal. So do what's comfortable for you. All right. Number 2, it's a little bit outside of what a lot of project managers would consider as a goal, but I would actually challenge that because it's important, and it's to ensure quality. So I think you can and should be a quality check on all of your projects. The way I see it, if you're truly invested in your projects, you won't let something faulty go out the door. So I'm not going to lie here. It's definitely happened to me. I'll never forget the time my really big project launched with a giant typo on the homepage right at the top. It was totally embarrassing. It was a quick fix, but it was still embarrassing. And it happened because I didn't take the time to check the site one more time before we clicked that button to launch. I'll never do that again. You know why? Because now I plan that quality check time in all of my projects in TeamGantt. So yeah, it can happen and it will happen sometimes, but if you commit yourself to making sure quality is top of mind, you'll ensure that your clients, stakeholders, and teams are really proud of the work that you did together. And you can confidently share that work with the world because it's a nice way to showcase your talents, which is pretty awesome. All right, so moving on. The next one's been a theme in recent episodes of our podcast, Time Limit. And hey, if you have not checked out Time Limit yet, I would love for you to give a listen. All right, so this goal is to be more strategic as a project manager. So I'm just gonna say it. If you're a PM, I want you to get out of that to-do list mentality. Your job isn't to be a taskmaster or a box checker or a micromanager, unless that's in your job description. And if it is, let's talk, because I've got tissues and a shoulder to cry on. All right, but seriously, project management isn't about checking tasks off a list. It's about doing what's right for a project given the path that it's taking. And you have a voice in that. So if you take on this goal, I'd encourage you to approach your project with an intense focus on its goals and how you and your team can better serve that goal through the project itself. Maybe that'll lead you to rethink process and deliverables. Maybe it'll make you rethink what you design or build or even deliver, but maybe it won't, right? Either way, it'll get you to look at project success through a different lens, one that's going to show you long-term impacts and decisions rather than short-term tasks. All right, number 4 is to focus on leadership. Part of the problem we have as PMs is that we're seen as managers who have very limited management power or responsibility. Maybe we're not just seen that, maybe we are that way. So here's what I think. Don't take your job title so literally. I'd encourage you to think of yourself as a leader. Think about it. You lead teams to successful deliveries. You manage the day-to-day, but you are a leader first. And here's the thing. You've got to be a good leader to advance your career in any direction. So as a project manager, you're well suited to do just that. Take some time to discuss what leadership means to your teams, your managers, and even your organization. And then do some research on your own. Think to yourself, what does it mean to you to be a great leader? Then set a goal to be that great leader. Embrace that thing, work on it, and make yourself that leader, that person. There are so many ways that you could accomplish this on your own through reading books or taking courses, but maybe you can even find a mentor to help you, or at least to help you find the right opportunities. Remember, this is something that doesn't necessarily have to happen in your office. You can actually find volunteer opportunities that allow you to widen your horizons and really strengthen your leadership skills. Honestly, at the end of the day, this is about you manifesting what you want from your career. You can do it. I know it. All right, so here's my last one. And if you take this one on, please get in touch. It's to share your experiences. Listen, I know just as well as anybody else that the PM tends to be an introverted breed. Not many of us talk to one another, let alone talk about our work at all. And I think that definitely needs to change. You may not think that anyone cares about your perspective as a PM, and I'm here to tell you that you are absolutely wrong. If you're learning lessons on your projects and you're making things better for yourself and for your team, I think that you should share those things. Speaking and writing will elevate your career for sure. And you'll be able to find your own community while doing that too, which is a total bonus. So while writing an article here or there may not turn into a book deal, and maybe you don't want that anyway, it's definitely going to help you to gain respect among your colleagues. It does take guts to put yourself out there, and that says a lot about an individual. So maybe make it a goal to start with one blog post and see where that takes you. It's not going to be a lot of effort. It's an easy thing to do, and it's a little fun. But seriously, if you're into this, get in touch. I'm here to be a sounding board, an editor, even a cheerleader if you need it. Trust me, I do know the courage it takes to publish a blog post for the very first time. At the end of the day, I'd encourage you to pick a goal that feels like it will help you to be better, to feel better, and to really excel in your career as a project manager. And honestly, having something to aim for never really hurt anybody. All right, folks, that's all I have for this episode. Tell me though, what are your long-term or short-term goals as a project manager? Did any of this, what I just said, resonate with you? Or do you have other ideas that I should have considered here? Use the comments on YouTube to discuss it. And I'll see you there until the next episode. Thanks.